I talk, you listen, or you turn the channel. Either way, I'm still going to talk. I got nothing. Welcome to Unfiltered. We've had a couple weeks off, and it's kind of silly here in the studio tonight. I want to start off with the big news. It happened on Thursday. I was taken from part-time status at Cheshire TV and given full-time status. So I'm now a full-time employee of Cheshire TV. A week ago Wednesday, I was elected as vice chairman of the board of directors of Cheshire TV. So it's very cool. Although it brings up a point that I've been thinking of. As everybody knows, at the beginning of the majority of shows here on Cheshire TV, the local shows, we run a slide, a disclaimer slide. And it's in the policies that we run this slide to let the viewing people know that the show was produced and submitted by an independent producer. That would be me. Andrea, could we bring that up real quick? Just so that people have a chance to see it, because it's probably one of those things that nobody looks at. It says the following program was submitted by Cablecast by an independent producer who is solely responsible for its content. The views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Cheshire TV, its board of directors, or staff. Okay. So, my views and opinions on the show are my views and opinions. Where it gets a little tricky is I am now a member of the staff and the board of directors of Cheshire TV. So here's what we do. My views and opinions during the show will be my views and opinions, not necessarily those of the other Cheshire TV staff members or board of directors, and may not be your views and opinions, but they're my views and opinions, and I have the right to my views and opinions. You have the right to have your views and opinions differ from mine, and I applaud you for that. And if your views, of course, your views and opinions probably aren't the views and opinions of Cheshire TV, its board of directors or staff either. But as a staff member of Cheshire TV, my views and opinions are that of a staff member of Cheshire TV. As a board member of Cheshire TV, my views and opinions are that of a board member of Cheshire TV. And as far as this show goes, my views and opinions don't mean shit. Pretty much. Because you've got your own views and opinions. Maybe once in a while your views and opinions and my views and opinions will be the same. Probably not. All right, did we get that cleared up? Or did I completely confuse everybody?
What did you say?
I'm just talking just to prove to Randy that I can. Pretty much. He still can't believe that I can have a TV show and just talk for an hour and at the end not even have any clue what I just talked about for an hour. All right, we got that one done. The Pumpkin Fest. Of course, we haven't done an episode of Unfiltered or Talkin' Awe since before the Pumpkin Fest. It was a fantastic day. Tracy and I did 2 hours plus the parade. I got to interview the mayor. How cool is that? It was like the hippie and the mayor segment. One generation to another generation. And basically I just introduced him and let him talk because I know as a mayor, that's what he does. Talks. But he was pretty proud again because it was a successful Pumpkin Fest. We didn't beat the record, but it was still a success. We had a great day right up until, oh yeah, we had to start tearing down. And then it rained. And the Cheshire TV volunteers got soaked to the bone tearing down. We got the drive-through pumpkins. It was a lot of fun. And it's funny, we all got back to the studio and unloaded the gear, spread everything out to dry. And Lee seemed amazed that the volunteers that were here from 5:30 in the morning until it must have been 11 o'clock at night, and we were still laughing, joking, smiling all day, right up until the end. And a lot of us didn't even want to go home at the end. It's just, it's such a great thing to get, especially the big productions that we do out in the community, where people see us, the graduation stuff, Pumpkin Fest, any place that Cheshire TV goes out as a whole and does. The Music Fest is another one. That's all day long, tireless volunteers. And they keep showing up every year in every event that we do. And it's the same thing. The end of the day, everybody's still smiling and laughing. It's just a fun thing. You can't even think of it as work. Which is, I'm so psyched about the full-time position here that, because to me it's not work. It's coming in, and I love it. I get to be down here every day. I'm going to start working on creative projects, PSAs and promos and other little, stuff on the editing, so I can learn, what's the word I'm thinking of, more efficiently, or, so that I can get better at it. Speaking of getting better, last Saturday, I went to my first rugby game. I saw Keene State College rugby team play, I believe it was Southern Connecticut University. I was confused. This is a game, I'm not sure if it has rules. It must have rules, because a lot of people were yelling at the referee that he wasn't doing a very good job. And, the whole idea of the sport, it seemed to me like it's a cross between soccer and football and hockey, except without the sticks, and wrestling, like WWF wrestling. Because it starts out with all of them in what they call the scrum. I love that, the scrum. And it's like a big group hug. Half of one team and half of the other team, and they get in the field and they get down and start hugging each other. And then they roll the ball under, which is a little different too, because it looks like a football, but not like a football. It's got rounded ends, so it's kind of like a cross between a football and a soccer ball. And it's weird, and it moves funny, and then they throw the ball a lot and catch it and fall down and roll around, and I don't know how it goes, but I think we lost because the other team was cheering louder at the end of the game. I'm pretty sure that's a sign that Keene State didn't do all that good. But from what I saw, they were kicking ass. These guys were breaking legs and stuff. And I think the other team had an unfair advantage because there was this one dude, and I don't want to get racial or anything, but he was a black dude, and I bet he weighed 600 pounds. And there's just no way. You can't stop that much tonnage.
Like Fat Albert running at you.
It was like Fat Albert. Give him the ball. Because, and he didn't run fast, but once he got that momentum up, it's the whole laws of, action and reaction and, perpetual motion or whatever. Yeah. The guy just basically rolled down the field and I saw a couple injuries. They were taping up one of our Keene State players, and being there on the sideline, I heard the trainer telling him he had to ice it every single hour, 15 minutes an hour for every single hour he was awake. You know, I'm pretty sure that seriously cuts into the party and stuff, you know, when you got to put your beer down and go and ice your leg down. And
Maybe not. You could have the beer in
but
the
he
ice.
could put the beer in the ice. That's a good thinking, Greg. Only a man like you would think of something like that. But they put up a good fight, you know, and it was a playoff game, so they've been eliminated, I guess. But you know, there's always next season, and I don't know I don't think I could play that game, really. I've got to hand it to these guys. They're tough, and I've got some footage that I'm going to put together for a show. But these last few weeks have been just so busy between Athens and here and the board meetings, and I started directing No Spin on Friday nights. I'm going to start as a crew member. Well, actually, being as this is aired Friday night, I started this morning as a crew member on Luca Paris's A Culinary Journey. And food was good. Well, all right, will be. But we get to eat. The crew gets to eat everything he cooks. Telling you, it's a great deal. All right, I got Keene State College rugby. Well, I don't know. The game is confusing. And supposedly there's supposed to be penalties, but I don't know. Well, I'm going to have to sit down with these rugby guys sometime when they haven't been partying and have them like explain exactly what they were doing out there. But it looks kind of cool. And of course, this week, room 207, Ken Arnold did a soccer game, Keene State soccer game. He went down and filmed a little bit of, and that was pretty cool. He even got footage of the ref. So we actually got to see what the refs do, which is something that, you know, network, ESPN, they never show you, you know, what the ref's doing. They just show you the players. Ken Arnold's a smart guy. He's going to show you every angle. Yeah. You know, I try to show people every angle here, too, which is why the crew call and the booth shot and all that. See, what else is going on this week? Big news. Seems as like no big news is. Oh, yeah, the Obamas are getting a puppy. Yeah. Oh, wait, because he was elected president. That's why. Yes, we have a new president. Barack Obama is the president, and we, yes, and Andrea says presidents have to have a dog. Yes, they do. I don't know what kind of dog he's getting, you know, but I think he's planning on installing a basketball court in the backyard of the White House, so he can get out and shoot hoops whenever he feels like it. And I heard a thing the other day about his daughters. And imagine what it must be like. Because everybody at one time of their life has moved. And you've gotten to the new house, and if you're in a family that has more than one child, you get to your new house, and what do the parents say? Go ahead, you go in and pick your bedrooms. Now imagine Barack Obama's kids. Go on. Go in the White House and pick your rooms. That's it. Apparently it's a transition period. He's not president yet. And a lot of people just under the assumption that, you know, he was elected president, he's president. No, he's not. I like to refer to him now as Peebo. Peebo. It sounds cool, doesn't it? It stands for President-elect Barack Obama. Peebo. Yeah. He's got like this whole training period he's going to go to. And Bush is still president, but starting Wednesday, I believe, Barack Obama gets the same intelligence briefings as the president gets, the whole training packet, you know, with what to say and all the things not to do as president. And I mean, they've probably got like a library of film clips. And was it his father that threw up on the Chinese guy? Or was it? Remember that? It might have been Reagan.
No, it was the older Bush.
It was the older Bush. See, that's what I thought. Yeah, so I mean, that's probably like lesson number one. Don't throw up on foreign dignitaries. It's,
Don't eat the clams casino at the presidential, dinner.
no, don't eat, no crab's legs in China or anything like that. You got to watch what you eat. It was also the senior Bush that almost choked on the peanut, right? No, it was the other one. During the football game, remember the whole peanut choking incident?
Wasn't that Monica?
No. Greg. Remember, this is 6 o'clock, Greg. We can't talk about that kind of stuff here. My fans would be outraged. Speaking of outraged, it's quarter after. And it's time. We'll go back into the elections and everything else that's going on with that whole deal right after Crew Call and NASCAR. But typical Crew on cameras is Greg. And it's the laugh track. And you'll notice I put you in the credits this week, Greg, under laughter. And the booth is Bruce and Andrea.
What's happening out there, Rick?
Not bad. I got it right this time. I didn't screw up in the booth or anything.
It's not the roof. No. Been a wild week. It's been a warm week. It's been gorgeous this past week.
Yes, I can take winter like this.
I can handle winters like this. No snow yet, but it's only the early part of November, so we still got some time.
Oh yeah, it's not even winter yet.
No, not quite. But before we get too far, since it is airing on Friday, I wanted to make sure everybody out there and yourself wished Andrea a happy birthday.
Oh, I wasn't
Birthday
going
on
to.
Friday.
I was just going to keep my mouth shut and let her think that she's not aging.
Aging gracefully. But no, it's been a pretty decent week. Been enjoying the warm weather. I've been out feeding my squirrels every night, every afternoon. I got like 8 or 9 of them that come out and run around.
8 or 9?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
That's
they multiply.
a low estimate, isn't it?
that's it. Well, a little on the low side. You
Wait
keep
just 1
thinking
second, Bruce.
that it's a bunch of different squirrels, but it's the same squirrels that keep coming back over and over. But anyway, I'm going to give it to Andrea. She can fill you in on the NASCAR happenings for this past week. And
Before you give it to Andrea, flick that camera out here one time. Let me tell you this. You're in for a world. Since you started feeding those squirrels, listen to this. Squirrels can live 15 or 20 years in captivity. But their lifespan in the wild is often only about 1 year because they fall prey to disease, malnutrition, predators, cars, and humans. Apparently we can cross malnutrition off of that list because none of your squirrels will die from that. All right, do NASCAR, Andrea.
Yes, Bruce's squirrels are very well fed. They eat macadamias, they eat peanuts, they eat pistachios, let's see, what else? Cashews. And I mean, I'm telling you, they eat real high off the hog, so to speak. But
They'd probably eat the hog if Bruce would give it to
yeah,
them.
if Bruce was feeding it, they would.
they were coming right up on the porch
They-
this afternoon with me, coming right up to my feet. I was
Yeah.
afraid they were going to start climbing up my leg. I was getting nervous.
They really are cute. There's 2 little babies out there, and they're really cute.
Just let me know when you're serving the squirrel stew.
No, not that. I don't like squirrel stew. Oh Lord. Anyways, the race at, at Texas, it was actually kind of semi-boring. I mean, it was a good race, but yet it wasn't as exciting as it, has been in the past. And I don't know where these announcers have been, but I've been saying all year, and so has Bruce, and I'm sure you have too, Rick, These guys get out in the lead and they get in clean air and they drive away from the field. And lo and behold, one of the announcers said, you know, it's amazing. They get out in the lead and they get in that clean air and they just drive away. And I thought, what the hell races have you been watching this year? Because he just now figured it out. But anyhow, like I said, it was a decent race. It wasn't real exciting, but I'll give you the first 5 and that's it, because we've got 2 more races now after this. But it finished up with Carl Edwards, the little flipper, and he took first place. And then Jeff Gordon ended up in second. Jamie McMurray, who was not in the chase, he's not one of the chasers, he took third. That was an excellent finish for him. And then Clint Boyer fourth and Greg Biffle fifth. So out of the top 5, 4 of them were some of the chase guys, so, which was good finishes for them. Now, the standings are a little bit shook up. We've got Jimmy Johnson, who is 106 points ahead. He's in first. And then there's Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Jeff Burton. Jeff Gordon is in 5th. He came up a spot. Clint Boyer came up a spot to 6th. Kevin Harvick is in 7th, dropped 2 places. Matt Kenseth in 8th. Then there's Tony Stewart. Kyle Busch, the little skunk, came up from the bottom. He's now in 10th. Dale Jr., I swear, that boy has got more bad luck. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any. He's dropped down to 11th now.
Wow.
Because he ran out of gas with just a few laps to go and ended up finishing all the way back into 20th.
Wow.
And then your guy, Denny Hamlin, he's on the bottom of the barrel. He's in 12th. Now, mathematically, there are probably 6 guys who could still take the cup. But if those guys on, 5th or 6th, which is Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer, if they won the last 2 races, these other guys, in order for them to take the cup, they would have to have the most horrendous finishes. They'd have to drop out after the first lap. And I don't see that happening. I think we've got actually about 4 of them left who could actually essentially, surge forward and take the cup. And but that's about it. The only other thing is Brad Keselowski made his cup debut this past week, and he actually finished 19th, which is pretty decent for someone making their cup debut.
Yeah.
We had one other incident where we call him Gilligan because he's got a hell of a name. It's Gilliland. He put his car right into the side of Montoya, put Montoya right into the wall, and took them both out of the race. They ended up finishing 42nd and 43rd. Oddly enough, NASCAR decided not to issue any fines or any further penalties to Gilliland, and he just gave him a talking to. But this week they're off to Phoenix, and like I said, news has been pretty boring. Their guys are trying to behave themselves the last couple of races. So they'll be in Phoenix, and we'll see what flies this week. And hopefully, I hate to see Johnson take a 3rd cup, but I don't want to see Edwards surge up there either. So he kind of caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
But other than that, Edith is out of there for this week, and back to you, Rick.
Thank you, Andrea. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe there's no NASCAR news because of all the presidential election news. And now that the elections are over, maybe we'll be able to get back to everything else that's going on in the world. We still have a war going on. Or 2 of them, or 3 of them, we got a bunch of wars going on. Still. We've got illegal immigration. Still. We have 2 border guards that are still in prison because they shot a drug dealer who was smuggling drugs across the Mexican border. The Border Patrol officers shouldn't be in prison, but they're still in prison. It's stupid. All this stuff is still going on. Poverty. Genocide in Darfur, whatever. Sarah Palin's on her way back to Alaska. She's pissed because she didn't get elected. So how much do you think the gas coming out of Alaska is going to start costing now? When as governor. And I hate to tell everybody, but I heard a speech today from Obama, and he said that he's not really a Democrat, he was just pretending, and he's really a Republican. So he fooled everybody, and now he's going to raise taxes.
He was a closet Republican.
He's a closet Republican, yeah. Actually, no, these political guys, they're not closeted. We call them stalled because they hang in the bathroom stalls. That's horrible, isn't it? And something I want to know. Now, actually, Lee and I just found this out right before we taped the show. I can vote. I could have voted. Because there are a certain number of states in the United States that if you're a convicted felon after you serve your term, you can still vote. I can even hold public office as a felon in New Hampshire. Because all that was dancing around my head when I saw the clip of Senator Ted Stevens. They were walking him down the hall, and he's just been convicted of a whole bunch of crap up there in Alaska. Ted Stevens is a senator of Alaska. He's going to prison. But they were asking him about re-election. And I was thinking, wait a minute. How can he even run for public office as a felon? Especially where he's been involved in all these political scandals. They shouldn't let him back in office. It's stupid. But apparently, yeah, I can vote. So, not that it would have made a difference. I wouldn't have voted anyway. Because I'm going to make the prediction right now on this show, November 7th, 2008, that when I do my first week of November show in 2009, with the new president in place, I will be talking about the same things that I've been talking about for 2 years. War, poverty, illegal immigration, injustice. None of that will end just because we have a new president. None of it will end.
You gotta throw all the bums out.
Taxes are going to go up. Anybody that's expecting that huge tax cut, you might as well forget it. We will not see a tax cut. Even though Barack said he's going to give everybody a tax cut. He's not going to give anybody a tax cut. He can't afford to. Plain and simple. If you run a business and you're right on that thin line or in the red, you're not handing out bonuses. Well, unless you're like Lehman Brothers and Fannie Mae and Freddie, Fat Freddie, Fat Mac, whatever. No, you don't. You can't give out tax cuts when the company is so far in the red that you can't even find black anywhere. And just in case, if anybody wants a preview of what it's going to be like to have a black president, catch a couple of the old episodes of 24. Because in 24, they've got a black president. Things aren't going to be good. There's going to be stuff blowing up. There's going to be Jack Sparrow or whatever his name is, Kiefer Sutherland, running all over the world, killing people, trying to protect us as Americans. And the black president in charge of everything. So, I don't know. But I've been watching like all the president movies. You know, Dave, The American President, The First Wives Club. I've been watching them all. Even, what's the Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, where they played the ex-presidents that were on the lam. I mean, you got to watch all these great political movies during this time of year. But now we can get back to, global warming. And that's, let me tell you, that was the sign that the political arena is completely lost its mind. Because global warming is one of the top issues on everybody's platform. But how many pamphlets did they pass out this year? It was stacks and stacks and forests and forests and forests full of pamphlets. And we don't need them. We live in the electronic age. Emails, YouTube, 700 channels on TV. You don't need to give me 100 pieces of paper telling me global warming is real. You people caused global warming when you cut down that forest for your pamphlets. And you caused pollution by the inks that you printed everything with. And you're not solving anything. All you're doing is perpetuating the problems. That's all. Every president says he's going to make things better. And every 4 years you look back and everything's just a little bit worse. It's not getting better. And by electing one man, you're going to change nothing. You're going to change absolutely nothing by electing one man. I don't know. Sure, it's a great thing. Civil rights now has come full circle. 40 years ago, a black man couldn't share the same toilet as a white man. And today we have a black president. The gays are still on the shit list. We completely stomped all over their civil rights in this election. You want to know how and why? All the states that had gay marriage issues, when they ran all the numbers, the blacks voted against gay marriage by like 5-1. So in essence, it was pretty much the black vote that wiped out gay marriage.
Well, they say that in the church vote.
And the churches too. But a lot of the abortion stuff, the bills that were banning abortions altogether, none of those passed. Massachusetts passed their marijuana bill. I believe it was Proposition 2, I believe. I can't remember. See, all these numbers during the election times just freak me out. And I mean, it's a sad thing. I know it's a sad thing. But I actually listened to WKBK on election night and listened to Danny Mitchell and Cynthia and Fred run all the numbers. And it was just, it kind of made me go mental for a little while because I had too many numbers. I mean, I was working Tuesday night, so I'm trying to deliver pizzas and write down numbers and add up numbers to find out what the story was. And they can't just tell you in Keene, this is who won. They have to tell you each ward and the number of votes that each person got in each ward. And then they add the next ward, and you have to add all those numbers. And then they get the next ward, and you have to add all those numbers. And, I mean, I almost crashed my car because I was writing numbers and trying to add up, figure out who won. But as far as I think Gene Shaheen won, I believe. Molly Kelly won. I don't know, a whole bunch of people won anyway. Probably too many people won. But I didn't vote because by voting, you're just perpetuating this whole government thing. By not voting, I'm saying, look, I believe I can govern myself. And you just make all the rules you want. I'm just going to stay over here and do my little thing, and as long as I don't get in your way, you just leave me the hell alone. Plain and simple, I don't need the government telling me, you know, not to drive my car into a wall because it's pretty common sense. I don't need the government telling me that I shouldn't kill somebody because it's common sense. You know, I don't need the government trying to tell me that I shouldn't smoke cigarettes because this land was pretty much built on tobacco farmers. So don't tell me, you know, just leave me alone, let me do my own thing. You know, if I hurt somebody or kill somebody, then I mean, and that day probably will come when I'm 65 and ready to retire. Everybody knows that's my retirement plan. I know, Greg's like giving me all these weird little things. It's like, yes, and I'm 6 minutes over time, but that's all right, because it's just that much less time that I have to think of something to say after the musical interlude. This week on the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude, another song by the group The Spinning Leaves.
All right, this is also a song of movement. And thank you very much. We're the Spinning Leaves from Philadelphia, and it's great, the festival. I really love it. The idea of like looking people in the eye playing music, you know, not on the ground where you all live.
It's our favorite thing.
That's the way. That's the way. Well, I can feel that flame of human in my knees and in my nose. Feel the flame of human as it grows, it grows. All the people of this land are surely making plans for something sweet to eat. They tap the trees. They tap the trees. Cause there's a big roller rolling, a big storm a coming in, big flower open up to sing. Be free, be free, freedom! Well, I'm moving towards the light.
Very lonely firefly.
Lights reflecting in the river. Reflecting in the river. Cause there's a big roller rolling, a big storm a coming in, big flower open up to sing. Be free, be free, freedom! Well, I can feel that flame of human in my knees and in my nose. Feel the flame of human as it grows. Cause there's a big roller rolling, a big storm a coming in, big flower open up to sing. Be free, be free, freedom!
Thank you.
Yeah, the Spinning Leaves. They were a great band. And I mentioned the last time that I played one of their clips that they remind me a lot of Sarah Lee Guthrie and Johnny Arion. A lot. Just the style. I mean, that dude can sing Dylan great. He did a couple of covers of some Dylan tunes early in the show. And he's good. They're entertaining to watch. His expressions are priceless. And if you like that, see, the thing is, I can't blast Andrea with all that heavy thrashing rock and roll every week, you know? So I gotta give her some easy stuff once in a while. So, and luckily this past Music Fest was really good for that. All right, we'll go back to the election because that was the. What did he say now, Greg?
Luminance.
Oh, I missed it. See, because I put the monitor over here this time. Good job, Bruce. It's always nice to freak out all them druggies like halfway through the show. They go, wow, this shit's really kicking in now. Do it again. Yeah, see, now how cool is that? Gal talks a little bit more about the election because that's like the only thing that's gone on the past 2 weeks or 2 years or whatever. And I'd like to remind everybody that they're starting all the ads and stuff for the 2012 presidential campaign. Starting to plan that whole deal out, so you'll be starting to get flyers and phone calls about are you going to vote in 2012? If you're smart, say no. And it's funny because election day, on Tuesday morning, 3 people came to the door before 10 o'clock asking about voting. It's like, I would be able to vote if you people would stop coming and interrupting me from getting dressed. And of course, Mom came home from the polls. She had her little sticker, like, I voted, I'm proud I voted, or whatever. She stuck that on the door outside so that people wouldn't knock anymore. But yeah, phone calls and people passing out flyers. And there was not, I'm trying to think, during the 2 weeks before the election, I don't think anybody that came to the door was from Keene or New Hampshire. Apparently they flew in all these campaign people. And what I want to know is, now that the election's over, what are all these little freaks going to do for fun now?
2012.
All these little people that were going around knocking on doors, begging for votes, and spending 23 and a half hours a day on the phone trying to get you to vote. What are these people going to do now? Now that they have no campaign? Do you know, Bruce?
Amway.
Amway. It fits. It's either Amway or Jehovah's Witness. Because look, these people got no doors to knock on. They've got no flyers to pass out. These people are going to be lost, and I'm worried about them. I'm really worried about these people that were going door to door and calling, because now they've got no jobs anymore.
Holding that sign.
And the signs, the sign holders. This is another real sore spot of mine, because I'm a pizza delivery driver. Well, I could say I was a pizza delivery driver. People holding signs in the roundabout, on the common, in the medians, on Main Street, is not good, and it should not be allowed. I heard that they kept kicking the people out of the roundabout on Main Street and Marlborough Street. But they said the common was fine, they could be in the common. But they were in the median, on the little grass, holding their signs, and that's a danger. I mean, the lighting stinks on Main Street as it is. When people are walking across the street, they're very hard to see. Now you've got people gathering on the medians, laughing and joking and clowning around with their signs to get your attention while you're supposed to be driving, Bruce. Yes. While you're supposed to be driving, they're waving, trying to get you to look at them. And if you ask somebody, they're not going to pay. You are. You go, but I was looking at the campaign signs.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. Should have been looking where you're going. Well, then why do they put the signs by the roads? It's a distraction. No less than cell phones, putting on your makeup in your car, or reading the newspaper in your car. If you're going to drive around looking at political signs all day, you might as well just open up a newspaper and read the newspaper while you're driving. Plain and simple. I know it sounds stupid, and you're all going, oh no, I would never open a newspaper and drive. No, but you crank your head all the way around here to look at something that you just drove by. Yes, it is stupid. And I just take it to the furthest limit because it's the only thing that's going to get your attention. You go, that sounds stupid. Think about it. It is stupid. This is the show where I showcase the stupidity. And actually, it was your brother, Russ, Bruce. Your brother told me one night, you're always talking about changing the world, but you're never out there doing anything. All you do is talk about it on your TV show. I said, that's right. This is how I'm changing the world. By pointing out and trying to get you people to realize that a lot of the way that we think is stupid. And once people realize that, geez, that's kind of stupid, we have to stop doing that. Eventually, the world will change. Maybe. But I swear, a year from now, I'll be talking about the same things I'm talking about now. Throw the email up, yeah. Email me and tell me about it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me I'm stupid. It won't stop me from talking. Or, if you're too lazy to email, then you can wait until 10 o'clock tonight and call me. And I'll ask you what's on your mind. Because I've decided that the Talk and Our show, the way that I'm trying to automate it so that everything just runs in the little Mac computer doesn't go to sleep on me like it did the first episode, I won't be able to run clips because it'll be a continuous running thing with the graphics and everything coming up. But it'll be strictly a phone call in, and we'll talk about, whatever anybody wants to talk about. And of course, I'll always think of something funny to say just in normal conversation. So, hey, that's all of that. I don't know, man, I got 10 minutes? All right. I had 10 minutes of these stupid facts. And there's actually some good ones. Did you know that kite flying is a professional sport in Thailand? Yeah. Thailand, professional sport, kite flying. Captain Matthew Webb of England was the first to swim the English Channel using the breaststroke. Yeah, somebody did it before him, but they only dog paddled. So it didn't count. There are at least 2 sports in which the team has to move backwards in order to win. Tug of war and rowing. See, can you feel yourselves getting smarter? By the minute, right here. That's right. In 1912, Greco-Roman wrestling match in, the 1912 Greco-Roman wrestling match in Stockholm between Finn Alfred Azakanin and Russian Martin Klein lasted more than 11 hours. How's that for a pay-per-view match? But that was 1912, no TV. National sport of Japan is sumo wrestling. Yep. Get this. And if any business owners are watching, especially my bosses, listen to this. Workers at Matsushita Electric Company in Japan beat dummies of their foremen with bamboo sticks to let off steam. Yeah. So apparently there's like recess time or whatever, steam letting off time. You pick up your little stick and you go to your little area and you beat a dummy of your boss with a stick for 5 minutes. You get all your aggression out and then go back to work.
Hell, here we used to do it for real.
Says the company's enjoyed 30% growth for 25 consecutive years. All because they beat dummies of their boss to let off steam. I thought that was kind of cool.
They give them dolls to play with.
Dummies. Dummies. Much like on Mythbusters. You know, those two guys, probably not a stressful day in their lives because they get to blow up that dummy, they shoot at it, they drop it off buildings, you know? And they just have to picture whoever they're maddest at the time and mess with Buster. Isn't that the dummy's name, Buster? Yeah. All right. Takes about 63,000 trees to make the newsprint for the average Sunday edition of the New York Times. Yeah. So, and plus it's an election year. So, I mean, 63,000 trees to make just one Sunday edition. Not all the Sunday editions, just one average Sunday edition. Yeah. So, I mean, there's forests. We're losing forests and forests and forests. And these presidents should just do like Barack Obama did and do the little infomercial. That's what I would have done. Do an infomercial. Hi, I'm Barack Obama. I want to be your president. And here's why I should be. Run the clip, Billy. You know? Show the clip, and that would be it. All right, I got some more. I'm not going to let you get off with being stupid the rest of the night. In English, 4 is the only number that has the same number of letters as its value. You understand? 4 has 4 letters. 4 is 4. 5 has 4 letters, but it's 5. You understand now? Okay. Yeah. And no word in the English language rhymes with month, orange, silver, or purple. Those are 4 words that you cannot rhyme.
Nurple.
All right, Bruce, but now you're just making up words.
You've never heard of a purple nurple?
I've heard of it, but it's a made-up word.
How do you think they started with purple? Somebody made that one up.
All right, all right. Well, let me cross purple off.
What the hell is a scrum?
A scrum is the group hug that rugby players do while they're playing. It's like a big group hug. It looked kind of fun. Until they started, like, hitting each other and stuff. Then it didn't look fun anymore. Looked like the hugging part was just the foreplay. Before the beating. There was no punctuation before the 15th century. It was a 15th century invention. They said it was the best thing since
The question?
bread. No, because in the 15th century, they didn't even slice
They didn't know
bread.
how to ask a question until the 15th century.
There were no questions in the 15th century. Everything were statements.
They didn't pause between speaking.
Yeah. Because you wrote just like you spoke. And if you took a pause, you just left a space. Apparently. I don't know. I haven't actually seen anything that was written in the 15th century. 10 body parts are only 3 letters long. Andrea's in here trying to figure them all out. I'll read them to you. You guys don't have to figure them out yourself. I'll fill you in. The eye, the ear, the leg, the arm, the jaw, the gum, the toe, the lip, hip, and rib. Pretty cool, huh? So, now you know. I put
It's
it in.
spelled with 2 T's.
I added it so that when I take it back to Borders and put it back on the shelf, the next person that gets it will be able to know all these things. Actually, I'm going to write to the publisher and fill him in on all these mistakes I'm finding in his book. Only 3 world capitals begin with the letter O in English. Ottawa, Canada, Oslo, Norway, and I'm not even going to tell you that one. Figure it out yourself. It's Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. I mean, it's probably a small.
Pretty
small
safe
capital.
bet you'll never have to go there.
No, I don't think I'll have to go there for anything. Not even sure what they do there. Never mind. Cleveland spelled backwards is DNA level C. Somebody got a lot of time on their hands if they're trying to figure that crap out. Here's a good one. You know, some of you, 1 minute? Damn. All right, let me get to a real good one for 1 minute. Bill Cosby was the first black man to win an Emmy for Best Actor, and Barack Obama was the first black man to win the presidency of the United States. Yeah, 2 great things. All right, with 1 minute, Chris and Randy have no guest tonight on No Spin. Apparently, they're going to talk about this whole Barack Obama president thing and all the local election stuff. And I'll probably fall asleep directing it, but that's all right. I want to thank my crew, Mom's Tattoo and Gemini Screen Print. Tonight's video clip is due to Veterans Day. I gave you some more of the Army drill team, U.S. Army drill team from the air show. Till next week, peace.
The soldiers use a 1903 Springfield rifle, 40 inches long, weighing 10.5 pounds, and fixed with a sharp chrome-plated bayonet. They constantly strive for manual perfection and are justifiably proud as members of this elite unit.
Hi, this is Mikey from Orange County Choppers, and you're watching Channel 8. There you go.
Thanks, man.